Well, sorry if you're sick of stems already. Here's another one. This one is a 35mm. It's really well machined from China, as you can clearly see. No, actually, it's not that bad at all, looking at it. Now, I wouldn't trust this for anything too extreme, like downhill or anything like that, but it's fine for cross-country, I'm pretty sure. You know, leisure cross-country anyway. Running the dog, that kind of thing. It doesn't look too bad. There's not any like real horrible marks from where the cutter was blunt or anything like that, unlike the wake stem. There's no porosity, unlike the wake stem. They have loads of like holes and pits and scratches and things from blunt tool marks and things like that, as well as porosity. There's none of that on here. This is actually pretty good. What I have noticed, right there, I don't know if you can see it on camera, there's some imperfection there. It's like a dent and an imperfection to the anodize. So I'm wondering if these are seconds from someone else, like a legitimate manufacturer that's well known. And you know, they're the ones that would have got thrown away because of the imperfections and things like that, possible other reasons. And then they've just branded them their own. I'm not sure that is the case though, because you know, it's 35mm, it's sold as 35mm, or 31.8, using what appears to be a seat post shim. Yep, that's what come with it. That fits inside there. Sorry about my hands, I've just got back from welding and, you know, YOLO. Got to have a... yeah. You can see just how janky that looks. But that aside, I don't recommend using that. That's I recommend you actually do use 35mm bars if you're going to, you know, use this stem, because those shims are a bit, well, pants. They might do the job, but, you know, they show through the front of the stem. And, yeah, I just wouldn't trust it. You know what I mean? If you're going to run a 35mm stem, run a 35mm bar. That's just my 2 cents on it. They might be fine while you're saving up for some handlebars if you're on a really tight budget or something like that. And let's be honest, if you're buying something like this, you probably are anyway. Or you just want to try something different or make a YouTube video because it's kind of interesting and weird to look at. Well, it's too late. I've already gone and done that. Here it is. I bought it so you don't have to. I think it's the best way of saying it. It's not too bad. Machining looks pretty good. There's no nasty porosity or anything like that. It's even machined and cleaned up inside. I would take it apart, but I don't have the... if anyone wants to see the inside of it, let me know. I'll try and point the camera at it. But yeah, no, you can just take my word for it. It's pretty good all round in terms of the actual machining quality. There's no blunt... you know, there's some handling damage, however. As you can see there, as I said, I think these might be seconds from another legitimate manufacturer. This looks a little bit like an older race face one, but it didn't have the X in the side of it. So if anyone knows what this is a rip-off of, please let me know. I mean, it might be its perfectly own legitimate thing, but I just can't see how you could sell these that cheaply. You know, there's a fair bit of machining in this. There's going to be some wear and tear to the machine. There's going to be the materials itself. You can tell they're fairly reasonable. There's obviously the bolts that go with it. There's the time, there's the anodizing, there's the electricity. And then, you know, all the costs of running a business on top of that. How can they produce this thing so cheap? I think this was about £26, which is, you know, there's a lot of machine work on here for that. You know, it's not, certainly isn't a race face stem or a burgtech stem, but it's not bad. Not for the money anyway. I mean, you can just buy a race face Chester stem and, you know, be done with it. It's a lot more dull and plain to look at, but you know for sure you're pretty good as far as safety is concerned. You know, the thing with cheap bike stems is they can be deadly. A lot of your weight is on the handlebars, particularly on a landing. You know, even hill climbing, standing up, pedaling out the saddle, you're putting a lot of stress on the stem. This one looks pretty good. I don't have an x-ray machine to go and x-ray it. It could be all full of porosity inside and be a casting and not a forging. I mean, it looks like it's machined from billet, but let's be realistic here. That's very, very, very unlikely. This is going to be a forging, and they're going to have machined this after the fact. You know, so it's forged. It'll be a blank shape. Then they'll machine the details into it, depending on the program on the CNC machine. CNC machine's basically a big drill on multiple axes with special mills and bits of, you know, tools. It's basically a robot what cuts metal. You know, that's in a vise, all level and flat and everything. There'll be a program so it knows where everything is, and then it cuts shapes out essentially. You know, programming those things is a pretty skilled job. In the UK anyway, it's a very well paid job, programming a CNC machine. And there's lots of maintenance involved. They're very expensive to run. You know, there's some of these places in China, wages are pretty cheap, and a lot of the time, and especially in the case of Wake, I mean, there's actually a video of the factory there, and they're running some pretty old looking, you know, very old equipment from the 80s and things like that. Anyone can just buy used CNC equipment and set up their own CNC machine shop. But as far as quality control is concerned, there are people out there that do not care, to be totally honest. That, you know, they'll just make it and they'll intend it for something like just leisure mountain biking, and then people will buy it. There's no warning on it telling them not to do stupid stuff with it, and it'll just break and then they'll hurt themselves. In the case of Wake stuff though, the bars and things like that vary in wall thickness, and I've seen a few of those crack, and the stems, I've seen one that didn't have any threads in here. It was just, they come with the bolts, but there was no threads. Like, what the hell? That's, you know, I should have done a video of it, but I didn't have a phone or anything on me, and it was my friend's house, so yeah, that was quite funny. Anyway, that's enough rambling on about cheap bicycle stems. I'm just buying a few cheap bicycle parts from China just to have a look, see what they look like, try them out a little bit. I'm not going to do anything too extreme with this. I might throw it on a work hack or something like that. But yeah, that concludes this video. It's better than the Wake stem and the KRSRC stem. See you later. Like and subscribe for more videos on bikes, electric scooters, crazy stuff. Anything really. Computers, there's all kinds of stuff on here. 45 mile an hour electric scooters that were only supposed to do 15 mile an hour, RC cars. There's loads of random stuff. That concludes this video.